Thank you very much. Really humbled and honored to be part of this forum. Thank you. So, why startups succeed? So, would love to hear your insights. What do you think? Why startups succeed? Anyone? Yes, sir.
Because they disrupt.
They disrupt. Okay, awesome. Somebody else would like to share something here. Room for growth, scaling.
They hustle.
Hustle. Absolutely. Staying focused. That's amazing. Exactly. There are so many different reasons why startups succeed. Absolutely. And we are going to focus on generally, people think that number one reason why startups succeed is that they have an out-of-the-box, really cool idea, and because of the idea they succeed. That's one. The other one, some other people think that it's because of the funding. I do not agree to both of these ideas. It's absolutely, you're right, Zach. Thank you for hosting me here. Exactly, this is because of the execution. So I will share my limited experience of 4 years working with businesses and startups in Silicon Valley and globally as well. And it's a very diverse range of conventional businesses, starting from moving, cleaning, printing companies, all the way to some high-tech startups like robotics, SaaS, cloud, metaverse. So in this way, working with so many different companies and startups, what I have learned is that funding and the idea are not the number one success factors for somebody to pull traction and deliver a lot of results. Ideas are dime a dozen. It's all about the team. It's all about the execution. Absolutely, you said it right. In terms of the team that that's the startups which deliver results who are successful, the number one factor is the startup founder, himself or herself, because they have the passion to drive, they have the perseverance to go and pivot and try so many different things and have the patience to fail and work on their failings and take it to success. And then the founders, like founder alone or even co-founders together, then that's how they gather members and have a team and provide them a culture, because the culture goes way ahead than strategy. Because we can write down, we can plan all different kinds of strategies, but generally, the culture that we give in an environment, like in our last talk, in a couple of talks since this morning, we have been talking about that capital is not the limiting factor at this point in time. It's talent. It's very difficult. It's challenging to attract talent and even more challenging to retain talent. So in that case, that's how the founders, the co-founders, getting together with the team, the members of the team, and then the mentors, advisors, coaches as well. They form a complementary team. Everyone has weak areas. I have a lot of weak areas. I have some strengths to offer. In the same way as well, we form a complementary team where the startup founder is strong maybe in one area, in a tech or some other area, but that's how they help, and they need advisors there. Because a lot of time, the investors, they look at the advisory board. Who else is there on? If all the people are there from one profession, why not have that diversity? So it's super critical and important to have an advisory board, mentors, coaches working with them to get the execution for it. And how does the execution come in? The successful startups, they go through this and they implement this. Especially the startup founders work a lot in their mindset and strategies. Like, we get the execution and we deliver results once we combine both of them. Only mindset with no strategy, that would not bring a lot of traction. And similarly, only strategy. So working simultaneously in both of them, a lot of work with this startup founder and those startup founders that they can pull off and they can deliver results. In terms of a business plan, like this is like a pyramid. The bottom ones are the foundation, the business plan, positioning, and that's how we build up the whole building on top of that, on top of those foundations. In terms of the business plan, yes, successful startups, they have a very good business plan. They put together the 5 years projections of their revenue. They do all that, but a plan is a plan. A plan is a plan until we get punched in the face. By who? By the customer. Because a startup has to go in the market, do a lot of failings, learn based on those lessons learned, and build upon them. Try it. Because it's not something theoretical that you put together only a business plan and get results with it. Successful startups, they position their products and services really well. So positioning in terms of the positioning of products and services, and also positioning of themselves as a startup founder. Because like every time, wherever we go, wherever we meet someone, people ask us, that's the first question, what do you do? So saying like I have a job or I have a business. Okay, if you have a business, like what do you do? So those are the kind of things we are positioning ourselves all the time. So successful startups, they do it hundreds of times. Like in some of my experience working at Tesla factory for the last 5 years, and that like, a lot of executives I hosted because of the virtue of the project Model X assembly line for $250 million that I got the opportunity to lead. I hosted those executives again and again. I found them that they were doing the same pitch every time. Like every 6 months, every quarterly meetings, they were saying the same thing. So that's how we learn, like, okay, how a startup founder, how would be important for a startup founder to even write his or her pitch and work on that so that they can position themselves really well. And that's what the successful startups do. Marketing. So as the father of management says, that marketing and innovation, two basic functions of a business are marketing and innovation by Peter Drucker. So marketing, that's how it generates, it's a game of volume. With the marketing, it has to bring in a lot of leads. All the leads were not closed. Like hundreds of people, like an interesting scenario. I met a startup founder, and the startup could grow to beyond $20 million in Palo Alto. I asked him, okay, how many people do you reach out to? He said that, Raheel, this is a very interesting question. Because a lot of startup founders meet me and they say after 4 months, oh, I'm done because I reached out to a lot of people, I could not get traction. You know, at this point, being a $20 million company CEO, I reach out to 100 people every day. It's a game of volume. It has to go through that fear of rejection, a fear of failure, a fear of judgment, and like maybe reaching out to 100 people and getting response for only 5, and maybe probably having only 1 meeting. So that's how the marketing leading on to sales, like putting up, closing those sales, and as the sales, the front end of the business, that's how it can grow the business. The back end operation becomes the bottom line. Because how much of the back end operations can provide and sustain in terms of the sales close. So successful startups, they have execution in all these different levels. And having that finance plan as well. Like in terms of the finance, especially the funding part as well. Because that's exactly what Atif and all of our entrepreneur friends, they were sharing here. That they see that traction. Day one, a startup founder goes beyond an investor and talks about that. They say, okay, what's the result and the traction that you have in terms of the results that you have achieved? That's how it brings that financing. We are in Silicon Valley very lucky. There are so many different creative ways of financing here, like crowdsourcing, so many different ways, like angel, investor. All these pyramid, the top tier being the customer success. The early startups who show signs of success, they build up on client success. They go, because there are 2 types of entrepreneurs. One type of entrepreneurs, they really love their product, they really love their service. And there's another type of entrepreneurs who love the client more than their products and services. Since they have the opportunity and the initiative to love their client beyond their products and services, they can pivot and they can get the traction and they can build on customer success. So this is what we learn in terms of what the successful startups are doing and how and why they're successful, and it's all about the team and it's all about that execution. And based on that, we'd love to share that this is exactly what the investors talk about, they see, they expect from the startup founders and the business owners. So thank you very much. You have been a wonderful audience. We would love to meet with you. Thank you very much.